Hi Paula. Uh, yeah, what I just say off the top of my head on that one is, you know, like did they ask you, or were they worried about when you were going to get married? You know, I mean, did they sort of like, you know, say, oh, I wouldn't get married? You know, they probably didn't. You know, I'd say it's your life, your decision, and you know, obviously break it to them gently. Maybe. I don't know, if I was in your boots, I suppose I wouldn't mention that I'm going to go on hormones. I'd just tell them, yeah, I'm, you know, that I need to be myself, and I'm not happy being seen as a guy, and or maybe even start it off with like, hey mom, hey dad, have you ever noticed anything, you know, in my childhood through my teenage years that I'm, you know, more than just a man, you know? Maybe ask them things like that. Get them thinking on those levels before you maybe come out with what's going to happen. Hint at where you're going first instead of just maybe coming out straight with it, you know, because that will obviously might blow them out of the water like a tsunami of emotions. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. It's like also difficult for your wife, I can imagine. Yeah, you know, you're gonna change. Her husband is gonna change, basically in a lot of ways. I mean, now you are obviously bisexual. You might have recognised at this stage that I'm just, you know, lesbian or heterosexual male. I don't know how I even want to term myself. But yeah, good luck with it all, and I would just say go with heart, go with your heart on it, go with your feeling on it, because nobody knows your parents better than you do. So it just depends on how your parents are, how they've treated you through your life, and how they've encouraged you to be yourself through your life. I don't know those answers, so you know, it's your call. Good idea to put an advice video out there, and I'm sure there's lots of trans people who actually change from one sex to another, who will have some words of advice for you that might hit home stronger than mine. But as I say as well, that I'm technically always going to be trans. I will always be trans because I'll always be transitioning constantly. You know, one side going to female, one side going to male. You know, depends on my mood. You know, and I'm lucky in that way that I'm XXY, you know, that essentially that can be considered to be third sex for a start, and it also can be considered to be intersex, and could be considered, I mean, maybe tell your parents about those sorts of people, me and all that sort of stuff. Maybe tell your parents, you know, there's actually a lot of people out there who are very similar in mind, but maybe not in action. But you know, yeah, I'd start off the whole thing with your mother and father on an educational point. Start telling them stuff about that you've been on YouTube and you're talking to people who've changed in sex, you find it fascinating, blah, blah, blah. Because if you probably go just over to your parents' house and ringing the bell and go in and say, hey mom, dad, how's it going? I'm gonna be changing sex. How do you feel? I'd say that'll wreck them, but that's my opinion, okay? So yeah, as you can see, I don't fix my hair either to get on the video, and I tell you, boy, you can wear whatever you want. I mean, why should you always have to be wearing women's clothes just because you're going to be changing into a woman? I mean, women in the world, absolute women in the world, wear whatever they want. That's the difference. Women can wear whatever they want, and men technically can't. Isn't that mad? Well, it's a kind of a madness that will hopefully change into a healthy madness when we force macho guys to wear dresses and tights. But I say, oh, there's the cigarette, did you see that? Ooh. But I say, yeah, do what you want, you know, and just let them down easy, you know, with what you're gonna say. Okay, so that was off the top of my head, like every video actually, but you know, but obviously this is a more sensitive subject, so I hope it went down well in your brain. Goodbye, stop, ciao.